Hey Clashers, the Cookie Rumble event is going to bring us quite some new features. One of the key things is going to be this cookie bakery from the Goblin, because in this building you can unlock all of those nice rewards. For example, the new event troops. Those event troops, you can use them while the event is going on, which means from the 18th December to the 1st January. So don't worry, they won't be unlocked during the Clan War League in the next year. But the question is, well, what are the best strategies for those event troops? That's exactly what I'm going to show you. But first off, a quick reminder, if you're buying the event pass, which means you should get then more resources to upgrade your equipment, if you're thinking about buying anything of that, make sure to use code iTzu if you want to support this channel. But let's take a look at the first event reward, which is the event spell. This spell is just straight up insane. This is on the same strength, in my opinion, as the Lava Loon Troop, which we had during the Clash Arena event. This is going to pretty much replace every single free spell in the entire game. On top of that, we have a new troop, which is called Cookie. This one is really strong with 2,400 hit points. It does not have the most hit points, but with 10,200 damage, it can one-shot pretty much any building, and it's crazy. The best army for this event troop is exactly this. With the equipment, and don't worry, you do not need to have the epic equipment on maxed out. You don't need that. And if you do not have the Vampire Stash level just yet, don't worry, just use the Rage Vial. On top of that, we're using the Yak because the Yak is just enabling our king to keep moving on. The queen then is going to use the invisibility and the spawning healers. If you don't have the healers, just use the regular archer spawn. The same thing with the warden. The warden using the eternal tome and the healing tome. If you don't have the healing tome unlocked just yet, don't worry, just use the default, the life gem, and it works fine as well. Because take a look at this. You will not have any problems on the strength level. What you're going to do is on the two corners, you're going to deploy one ice golem each, then two of the root riders, a couple of cookies behind, and this is the key thing. A lot of people are doing the mistake of having too many cookies in their army. But remember, this troop is one-shotting everything and is doing even splash damage. So if you have 1 or 1,000 cookies in one area, the buildings are going to be one-shotted anyways. This is why you try to do it a bit more surgically and try to spread them out. As well, you're trying to save 1 or 2 cookies for the back end to make sure that you have an early cleanup, or with the Royal Gem together, they can even one-shot the defending king, for example, if that one is somewhere exposed. For us, in the core, things are looking great, which means we'll keep using our frost bags, which means the entire defense is frozen. So ring bases are really nice for you or for anyone who's using this spell, because all of this stacked damage now is kind of getting, well, not really any value anymore because you will just freeze it. This spell is just really a big game changer, and the cookie is just one way of following things up. You can just use any strategy which you have done before the event, like Super Bowlers, Dragons, Super Dragons, or Electro Dragons, or a Queen Charge, whatever you do, just replace your freezes with the new event spell and you're going to do better, guaranteed. But now, for this attack, you can tell we have our first 3-star collected. But how do you attack like bases where the town hall is kind of exposed? So let's take a look at that. Versus bases with the town hall really far on one side, you typically try to enter from the other side. Yes, this might sound risky, but let me just show you how this works. So, first things first. Again, the same opening, okay? Corner, ice golem, 2 root riders, then 2 to 3 of the cookies behind, and then the same thing, everything in the middle, with one big thing, again, saving 2 to 3 cookies for the back end. Really important. You do not want to put them all in, because as I said, otherwise you have too much damage in one place and it's kind of useless for you. You want to spread them out so splash damage is not as effective against you. For us, we'll keep moving forward, we'll keep freezing everything. This is kind of the clutch thing. More strategies for using freezes will work better with the new event spell. That's overall the thing, because this spell is just a big game changer. The cookie troop is not bad, don't get me wrong, it's pretty good. But it's not on the same level as this spell. This spell makes any strategy better. At this point, we're just jumping now towards the town hall, and take a look at that. We have the rage left. We can keep using like those frost bags to make sure that defenses are not shooting really back. Using the king ability now, and that king is a really big one with that epic equipment. And the Royal Champ, I would just use it. I don't like swagging things. I feel like it's kind of useless. But at this point, this base is just done. And we have our next 3-star. So trust me when I say that if you're taking from the far side of a town hall, you don't really care. It is totally fine of going all the way from the other side. And it is not really risky at all. And it's just a way safer approach. Making sure that you're avoiding the town of poison for as long as possible. With that being said, let's take a look at the next event troop, because as I said, the event spell should be used in any strategy out there and just replace the freezes. The best army for the cookie is exactly that one, with the ice golems, with the root riders, and with the cookies themselves. Then we have for the ram rider. The ram rider charging in towards the defense, destroying all walls. And with that, they're turning into a ranged Hog Rider. That sounds really strong as well. The big difference though between a cookie and between the Ram Rider is that Ram Riders need to be deployed more surgically, while the cookie is for sure the more spammy troop. That's why for this one, I would highly recommend you going with the Queen Charge. Queen Charge right now is probably one of the best openings on Town Hall 16 if you can control your Queen, which is obviously a big factor of that. But those equipments make this even stronger. We have the default equipment on the Queen, obviously the epic equipment on the King. On the Warden, we again have the Eternal Tome and the Healing Tome. If you don't have the Healing Tome, just use that Life Gem. On the Royal Champ, just the default. Let's jump into the attack, because we're attacking a ring base. Normally ring bases are not an easy thing to do for Queen Charges. One of the hardest things actually to do. But I think we can control this quite well, because what we're doing is we're starting with the Queen on one corner, tanking the mortar, and having our Flame Flinger now taken down, going into the other direction, going away from the Queen, while she's leading the charge into the core. The good thing now about this King with the Yak is as long as this King can just attack something, he's just non-stop going. The only big problem you have with the King are walls. That's the only biggest counter to it, and that's why I think the Yak can actually be pretty good on this King now with this equipment, which I think is really cool. Having an equipment, bring back a pack and make it viable again, that's kind of nice. If you don't like it that much, just use Frosty. Don't worry, Frosty will work as well, but your King sometimes might get stuck on some walls, which is never a good thing, because take a look at that. He just easily tanks those monolith shots and then turning on his ability, making sure that he's just getting bigger and bigger and tanking even more damage, while the Queen then is slowly making her way into that direction as well. At this point, well, that Queen will go to the top left side. So how do we get her to the core? Because do you see that right there? The corners of those core compartment are open, so we can't wall break there. Yes, we could not go really fancy with the Ram Rider and charge into the base to open up the corner there in a wall in general, but I feel like that's not even necessary as long as we funnel it correctly. To push the Queen into the tunnel compartment, we're starting now from the top left side with the Ram Riders. Remember, they're slowing defenses down on the first contact, on the first charge, and with that, this geared up and merged up cannon is just going down within seconds. At this point, we'll just keep making sure that the core is frozen and nothing can really fire back, because again, we are using a lot of freezes. Any strategy which can use a freeze spell, or more like the new event spell, is just going to become way better. It's a huge game change, which means, kind of funny enough, I feel like the big loser of this event, strategy-wise, might be Super Archer Blimps, because they typically use maybe one freeze, but that's pretty much it. Otherwise, they're relying on invisibility spells and clone spells, so they're not getting an as big boost from all of those new events things. So that's for sure one big downside there. Otherwise, any strategy using the event spell is going to become way stronger, and that would be my 2 recommended strategies for you guys if you want to use the event troops in combination with the event spell. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will obviously see you guys back tomorrow with the next one. Until then, see ya and bye bye.